Alright, so welcome back to the next viewer VOD review video. This submission comes from Dirk Ridley. He is an APA 7/8, so he is a 7 and 8 or 7 and 8 ball and a 8 and 9 ball. He submitted this video. It wasn't particularly meant for me whenever he recorded it because he did it back in 2018, but he decided to submit this. One note to anybody else who's going to submit videos: please film them in horizontal and not vertical view. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into this video. We should see some decent level play. And I've watched it a few times, but I'm just going to go through it and we'll talk about what we see. So usually I want people to play the ghosts, but Dirk in this video, he pretty much just shoots the one from wherever the cue ball lies after the break. And so what I'm thinking here is this rack's pretty difficult because the three is going to be hard to get shape on because the 4 and 8 and the 9. So it's hard to get shape to shoot it over here. It's also hard to get shape to shoot it over here. And there's, it's hard to also get underneath the ball to shoot, the 3 in either one of these corner pockets. So I think the key here is you're going to have to get the cue ball, about somewhere around this line so you can cut the 3 into this corner. And then you're going to have to spin it a little bit and try to come out for the 4 to shoot it over here. And that's going to be pretty difficult. So I think, if you could get, you could stun this a little bit with outside and go one rail here and then back out to over here. Or you can hit this with just top and a little bit of inside and just come straight out for the 2. Shoot it there and you can shoot a stop shot. If you get on the wrong side, you can go down to this bottom rail and back out like that. If you get on this side, you can just stun it up like that. So I think I like playing to this side of the 2 ball. But yeah, this is going to be a difficult out, so we'll see what happens. Could have prevented that with just a little bit of inside to, yeah. It's kind of a bad miss. It's one thing to miss it, but you missed it by quite a bit there. I think on that shot, you're supposed to spin it with bottom right and come 2 rails. So probably what I would have done is instead of, just going top with right, coming over here, I think you need to hit it with bottom and kind of bring the angle out over here. And then you can go 1, 2, 3 rails back over to this side. If you come up short, you can shoot it over here. If you come up a little bit long, you can shoot it over here. But with the way you played it, you end up getting behind the 9. Well, maybe you can see it. Yeah. One thing to notice, I didn't like what you did with your cue here. See, the cue pretty much instantly goes up, goes off to the right side. And I think that's because you're going to run into the 9. But if you would have taken just like a little bit more time to actually look and see where the cue ball was going to go before you shot, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. I like leaving the angle there to get over for the 5 pretty easily. Avoided the 9. I might have left the cue ball over here, just hit it a little bit softer, and then just cut the 5 over there rather than getting to the inside. Then you completely take out the chance of running into the 9. That looked like it was going to go at first. Maybe it rolled off a little bit. It was a nice little positional shot. I like that. Here, I think you just draw back. Yeah. All right, that's the first rack. Pretty sure you make this. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go with the side break again. Kept the cue ball in the middle of the table. It didn't hit any of the rails. That's nice. Pretty open table. The 1's right here. So really the shot of this rack is going to be getting from the 1 to the 4. I can't tell if you can follow it. I think you probably run into the 7. So you're probably going to have to draw this. You have to watch out for this corner pocket. Yeah, that was a nice shot. Drew it past the corner, get it to this rail, and it comes straight down for the 4. Nice position on the 5. Here, I think I like, rather than playing it for the side, I probably go one rail. Oh, that's fine. I was saying I might have liked to just go 1, 2 rails out, play shape on the corner over down here. But you did fine. All right, and that first rack took a little while, but the second rack was just a quick break and run. Yeah, watch that cue. It keeps coming up, keeps swinging off to the right whenever you're shooting. Whenever you're stretching over the table, just make sure that you're nice and comfortable. Commit to that stroke. Don't get up on it. All right. Cue ball was well controlled, just got kicked down there by I think it was a 3 that kicked it down into the corner. Not much you can do about that. So here you have ball in hand, so I'm going to go ahead and say how I would play this rack out. So I'm thinking, the 1's kind of obvious. You're going to shoot it here. I think you just draw back just a little bit, maybe to right about center table. Maybe draw back like this so you never risk getting behind the 8 if you overhit it. Then you can either stop the cue ball here whenever you shoot the 2 into this corner, and you can run the 8 up table, or you can run the 3 up table, or you can just draw back a little bit to over here, right? And then you can float the cue ball down a little bit to maybe just stop it here. That way you have an angle to get down for the 5. So the cue ball will hit here, go there, go down table. You shoot the 5 right here. Probably see if you can leave the cue ball right about there. But yeah, this is like seeing way far ahead in the rack. Everything is really going to be dependent on what angle you end up with on the 2. So I'll go ahead and play out. And the reason I didn't like going 2 rails there, I know you're coming into the line, which is usually what you want to do, but the 8 ball is so huge that it kind of blocks, even if you come in from this angle, you have a chance of getting behind the 8. And if you come out from over here, the 8's gigantic until you get past it. So that's why I like just, hitting it, just drawing straight back. Here the rack should be a pretty simple out. I think you just stop this 2. Try to kill it, so it'll probably end up like right about here. That's fine. Here you got a little bit of angle. Just make sure you leave an angle for the 4 to get down to the 5. This is going to be that key shot of getting out of the rack. It's getting down here for the 5. And I don't like going over to this rail because you either run into the 7 or you risk scratching in the side pocket. You did fine there. I think you just follow this. I don't know. As a fine shot, you just needed a little more power on it, a little more speed. You would have got there. Got a nice little tap off the 8. That could have been a lot worse, but it came out pretty good. About ball in hand position, really, except for the stretch. And then the only reason you miss that is because you're stretching again, not really taking a bunch of care to make the ball. And a pretty awesome kick shot to make the 7. That's something we're going to see a lot is your kicking skills are, I'd say, really high up there. That's a nice shot on the 8. It went straight to the pocket. Well-controlled cue ball. And that's the 3rd rack. Just a little too much top on the cue ball. It was going out towards the center. Then the top kind of took over and brought it over here and back behind the 9. So here you make a really nice kick shot. You go 3 rails, make contact with the 1. That was very nice. Yeah, it's just a hard shot. Another kick shot on the 1, and it almost goes. She ends up scratching. All right, so from here, your big problem is the 4 and 5. You can play a combo on the 4 or the 5, but I think you make a really smart choice here, and you decide to send since you have ball in hand, to send the cue ball into the 4 and 5 to try and break them out. And the position on the 2 is already automatic because it can just go straight to the side pocket. So now the 4 does go down here. The 4 will go down, and the question is going to be, and again, another miss, and we kind of see the same thing every time you miss. You know that you missed, and we know that because you start standing up on the shot. You kind of bring your cue out to the left before you're even done stroking it. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what I saw a couple times throughout this. So here we see your focus right now is completely on the 3 and where the 3 is. That's all you're looking at. But you're getting ready to shoot the 2. And you're already in your stance to shoot the 2. And then we'll see, you start, you're still looking at the 3, still looking at the 3. And then as you get down, you finally look at the 2. And you never really take a chance to like see if you're even aiming the right way. You just stroke, stroke, stroke. There's no pause to check and see if your aiming's even correct. And then by the time you stroke, you already realize, oh, I missed. And now you're trying to pull your cue off to the left to try and get the cue ball to the left to cut the 2 back in. All right, we're going to see something really similar right here. So as you get down, you actually look over at the 3 to see where it's at instead of looking at the 2. Now you're looking at the 2. And again, there's no real pause. You just kind of get down and shoot at it because you kind of take the shot for granted because it's supposed to be easy. You know, there are easy shots, but they're just as easy to miss. And then here, I think you just kind of get into a thing where you're just hitting balls for the rest of this rack. So I don't really think there's any valuable analysis I can provide during this rack because you're just kind of shooting balls in and you're kind of tilted right now. So this rack ends up taking quite a while. So we're just going to skip to the next one. So here, I think you kind of have to slow roll this one ball into here. So you kind of like got to hit it pretty slow, almost uncomfortably slow, and then try to get the cue ball to go 1, 2 rails out down here for the 2. And if you get straight in on the 2 or a little bit to the inside of the 2, you'll be all right. She ended up missing the shot. It wasn't a super easy shot. And now we'll see another kick shot from you. Try to do the Z kick. Those are really hard, unpredictable. Yeah. Ooh, flirting with that side pocket. Like I said, if you get on the 3, you should be out this rack. You know, again, you know, watch what happens with your cue. Play it back in a little bit slower, half speed. You know, go back, and your cue is going up instantly instead of just delivering it through the ball. And it seems like every time you miss, you end up picking your cue up, and I think it's probably partly because you know that you missed. But I think in that case, if you know you've already missed, if you would just take a little bit of extra time and put a pause in there somewhere to just check everything, you know, check to make sure your English is right, check to make sure your aiming is right, the ball's going to go, you're hitting at the right speed, and then you can commit to shooting. And if something doesn't feel right while you're doing that last check, then you can stand back up. I think you overran your position a little bit here on the 5. You probably wanted to get down here, like the cue ball, like around here, just to shoot the 5 down there. I think you can cut this pretty thin though, right? Little bank. That's a hard shot on the 5, but you missed it by a lot. I think we're kind of getting into one of those places again where you're just kind of aiming and shooting at balls, not really taking your time. And again, watch your cue delivery. By the end, now I know this is the cue ball's already gone, you're kind of changing it. But before the cue's gone, there. Your cue is already aiming off of where you want it to aim. And it's because you know that you need to send the cue ball more to the right, so you're trying to bend your cue to the right, but it's too late. So once again, I really think it's just take a little bit of time, make sure you're aiming right, and stop trying to do those corrections, because what it's going to do is it's just going to make you confused on whether or not it was a good or bad stroke, or if it was good or bad aim. So if you just commit to giving 100% good stroke every time and never picking up your cue, never trying to fix it after you shoot, then you can be certain that, oh, that was just me aiming poorly. It was just poor aim. And then you can fix it next time. Versus this, it's like you're kind of making it ambiguous of like, well, did I miss because I picked up my cue? Did I miss because I bent my cue to the left or the right? Did I miss because I was aiming poorly? You don't know. And so it's hard to improve if you can't diagnose what the issue is. I like that shot coming 2 rails. Shoot the 6 down there. That was a really nice shot. Hit it slow, just rolled it into the pocket. Then, oh, it seems like 8-ball might not go. But you played position there. I mean, you played position there pretty well. It's just, I guess it doesn't go. Yeah, it's just a tight pocket. All right. Get into this next rack. Pretty close, but it's a hard shot. Hard to fault anybody for missing that shot. And actually, you played that the right way. You're supposed to pick up your cue whenever you shoot a shot like that. So, well played. This is going to be pretty tricky going between the 6 and the side pocket and the 3. And yeah, kind of figured, it's going to be a close to scratching. Had you made it, it might not have scratched had you made it. But you hit it a little bit thin. All right, I like that shot. Here, I think you just leave an inside angle, and then you just go 1 rail from here over to there. Oh, 6-ball. You can still do it if you can see the 4. Just a little bit of right. All right, that's fine. I think you come off the rail with a little bit of bottom right here. And that was just, what happens here? And this is a good chance to actually analyze your kind of pre-shot routine. So you come over, you barely take any time to really aim behind the shot. So I'd recommend every shot kind of going behind your actual stance of like where you're going to be standing, and then just aiming from there first, and then keeping your body on that line. Because essentially, whenever what you're doing is you want to keep your shoulder and your entire shooting arm and your cue, as well as your chin, your center of vision, basically. It all needs to be on the shooting line, and you're kind of just moving over and then just kind of getting down real quick, and you haven't really taken the proper time to identify what the actual shooting line is. And then you get down real quick. Let's just play it back in slow motion so we can. All right. So you get down real quick, stroke, stroke, and shoot. Yeah, I think that's just you just rushing the shot, not really taking your time to aim, taking the proper care that's involved for every shot, kind of taking shots for granted. Spin it 2 rails. This is a well played shot. I don't know why it died off this left cushion. I think he probably should have gotten a lot better, but I like the way he played it. And again, we're just kind of throwing our cue up balls, not really. Nice kick again. Like I said, your kicking skills are superb. I've seen you make almost 3 shots already with kicks in 4 or 5 games. Here, I guess my guess is that 9 ball was kind of in the way of your cue. You end up hitting with like a little bit of left. It's hard to tell because the cue ball is kind of overexposed. You can't really see what spins on it. And I think that probably just threw that 8 to the left just a little bit. That's why you missed it. A nice little bank. And then see if you can cut it in. All right. Who racked that? Yeah, I think those. There's probably a couple. Probably a couple spaces in the rack that probably killed it off. Another kick shot, and you hit the 1. I'm telling you, man, your kicks are on point, especially the 1 rail kicks. I think you're gonna come over here and just try to run into the 6. You did a good job of it, but you forgot to make the ball. So here we'll see another kick shot. Very close. All right. Looks like you're playing safe on yourself there. Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that it's kind of hard for me to give feedback whenever you're just kind of throwing, you're just kind of shooting balls um, with no real dedication to making them or missing them, and you know it's hard to really provide feedback on that. And in the same way, whenever you practice that way, it's hard to provide feedback for yourself, and it's also hard to really improve. So if you're going to practice, like this is just a practice session. You didn't really film this for me. You just kind of filmed it just to watch yourself. I think you should commit to doing some kind of dedicated drill, whether that be, like you know, playing a ghost drill, or just setting up different challenges to try and get out, or just trying to do a break and run. And if you fail the break and run, just don't commit to it and restart the rack. Otherwise, you get to this point in these racks where you're just hitting balls over and over and over, and you're missing 3, 4, 5 times in a row. It's really tilting to your mental game. It's really tilting to your confidence. And I'd say just commit to doing actual practice, and put 100% effort into every shot that you make. And I think you'll probably see an improvement. That's a nice defensive shot. And I was actually pretty surprised that you missed that, considering how good you are at those one-rail kicks. Again, we kind of see that cue hop up going off to the right and the left. Just commit to the shot. If you miss it, you miss it. Don't try to fix it after you've already stroked the ball. That way you can know, like, oh. Yeah, and this is kind of another one of those times where you kind of tilted yourself, you're missing balls left and right. And there's no real value in practicing like that. You're never going to get better just kind of half committed to running out racks. And wow, like I said, these kick shots, man, that was epic. Wow, it's beautiful. Look at that. That'd be on a highlight reel, man. That should be on a highlight reel. All right, now you're out. See, so you go from playing. Well, you scratched on the 9, but you could have just hit with top or a little bit more bottom. It didn't really matter. Yeah. All right. So that's the end of the video. So I'm gonna talk about basically what I saw, and the biggest issue that I saw today was just effort and fundamentals. So pre-shot routine, stroke, beginning to end. Yeah, I mean those are probably the biggest 2 issues. It's pretty clear that you know what you're doing position wise. You can play with left and right English. About where the cue ball is going to go. Your biggest issue was just actually potting balls, which at an 8 level, you should be pretty good at. I think you can get by with playing more center ball position and not using so much left and right. But yeah, so I'd say pre-shot routine wise, I think what you need to do is actually get behind the shot, look at exactly what the shot line is, and then start lining up your entire body around that, rather than just kind of being right next to the table and going straight down like we've seen. And then after you go down, something that Mark Wilson has kind of preached is this getting down quietly. And what that means is once you get down, get down and just stop moving. Don't do any pre-strokes or anything like that. Just get down, check to see that your aim is right and that your English is right, and then go ahead and do a couple practice strokes, and then do another final pause before you actually commit to shooting the shot. So you're behind the shot, you step into it, get into your stance, get down, you check everything, you pause, do a couple strokes, to get the feel of the shot, do another pause, make sure everything is still right, and then commit to shooting. And I think what you'll see is you'll see a lot more consistency in your ability to make easy balls, because most of the balls that you missed were some of them were hard, but there were quite a few that were pretty easy shots that you shouldn't have missed. And I think that's just because you're not taking your time. And really, you should do this on every shot. Efren Reyes was quoted as saying, the reason he takes so much time on just as much time on easy shots as he does on hard shots is because easy shots give him the possibility to get even more accurate with the cue ball. So, take that extra time and just use that easy shot to make sure you get precisely, get the exact precise position that you want, the precise pocketing that you want. And I think you'll see an improvement. Anyways, thanks for the submission. Really awesome kicks. And pretty obvious, you know what you're doing. You can bank, you can kick, you can play position, you can use left and right. I think you just need to work on those fundamentals a little bit. And really, it's not that you have a bad stroke or anything. It's just that you're picking up your cue and not committing to the shot. So stay committed to the shot. If you miss it, then you know that you missed because you aimed wrong. Don't try to fix your stroke halfway through hitting the cue ball. And that's it. For anybody else who's watching, if you want to submit a video, the link is in the description. And I'll see you next time.